My name is Ngozi. I live in Aba, Abia State. I used to have a good life. Nothing too fancy, but peaceful. My husband Obinna was a hardworking man. He owned a small electronics shop at the main market. We were not rich, but we were happy. We had 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls, all below 10 years old. Every evening, we would sit outside our small compound, eat dinner together and laugh. Sometimes Obinna would play with the children, lifting them up one by one while they screamed and laughed. I always looked at him with pride. He was my everything, the man I prayed for, the father of my children, the peace in my heart. Then the pandemic came. At first, we thought it would just be for a few weeks, but weeks turned to months. The market closed. People stopped buying things. The little money we had saved finished quickly. We sold some things at home to eat, our TV, then our small generator. Obinna kept saying, "Ngozi, it's just for now. Things will get better." But things didn't get better. After the lockdown, when people started going out again, Obinna tried to reopen his shop, but everything was gone. His goods had been stolen and the landlord had rented his shop to someone else. I will never forget that day. He came home quiet, sat on the floor and cried. That was the first time I saw my husband cry like a baby. We struggled to survive. He started doing small street hustle, helping people load goods in the market, sometimes running errands. Some days he will come home with 500 naira, other days nothing. The children started getting thin. We couldn't pay rent, so our landlord began threatening us. Then suddenly, things changed. Obinna started bringing home money again. He bought food, he gave me money to buy clothes for the children, he even paid part of the rent. I was so happy, I didn't even ask too many questions. When I asked where the money came from, he smiled and said, "I'm doing a small night business, you won't understand." I believed him. After all, this was my husband. But one night, everything came crashing down. I was in bed with the children when I heard people shouting outside, "Thief! Thief!" My heart started beating fast. I rushed out and saw a crowd dragging someone on the ground. When I came closer, my legs almost gave way. It was Obinna. His shirt was torn, his face was bleeding. People were shouting his name, calling him a thief. I screamed and ran to him, "Please stop, he's my husband." But they didn't stop. They beat him until the police came and took him away. I followed them to the station crying and begging. I couldn't believe it. My Obinna, a thief? He was in the cell for weeks. When he was finally released, he came home quiet. He knelt down and begged me. He told me everything, how he started stealing at night just to feed us. He said he was sorry. He promised me it would never happen again. I cried that night, not because I hated him, but because I understood his pain. Hunger can make a man lose himself. So for the next 2 years, Obinna tried to be a better man. He became a bus conductor. The job was hard. He would leave before sunrise and come back late at night, tired and hungry. But at least he wasn't stealing again. We were barely surviving, but we had peace. Then one day, everything changed again. Obinna came home drunk. It was unusual because he rarely drank. He told me he went out with some friends to drink and relax. The next morning, I begged him not to keep those kind of friends again. He promised. A few weeks later, I noticed he was restless. He kept avoiding my eyes. Then one night, he didn't come home. I waited all night. The next morning, I saw police vans at our street. My heart dropped. I ran out, and there he was again, in handcuffs. They said he and his friends broke into a rich man's warehouse. They stole goods worth millions. My body went cold. I fell to the ground. I couldn't even cry. It felt like a dream. This time, he was not released. The police said they caught him through the man who bought the stolen goods. They couldn't find the other men, only Obinna. I went to the station to see him. His eyes were red. He said, "Ngozi, I didn't want to do it, but they pressured me. They said it was only once. I wanted to make life better for you and the children." I wanted to scream at him to tell him how much pain he caused us. But when I saw him behind those bars, I just cried. I cried until my chest hurt. They later took him to prison. Now I'm alone with our 5 children. No money, no job. The landlord has given us a quit notice. The children's school has sent them home. Sometimes we sleep without food. My oldest son keeps asking me, "Mommy, when is Daddy coming home?" I don't even know what to say. At night, I sit outside our house and think about everything. About how we used to laugh together. About how the man I loved lost himself to hardship. About how a good man can turn bad when life pushes him too far. Sometimes I still dream of him coming home, walking through the gates with that smile that used to melt my heart. But when I wake up, I only see the empty mat beside me. The world doesn't know how easy it is for a man to fall when life gives him no hope. Obinna was not a bad man. He just wanted to feed his children. But the street doesn't care about your reason. Once you fall, they call you a thief forever. Now I tell my children every day, no matter how hard life gets, never choose the wrong path. Because one mistake can destroy everything you love. Sometimes I still visit the prison. When Obinna sees me, he smiles weakly. He always asks, "How are the children?" And I always lie. I tell him they are fine, that we are managing. But deep inside, my heart bleeds. I don't know how long he'll stay there. I don't even know if life will ever be normal again. But one thing I know, no matter how much he failed, he is still my husband. And I will keep praying for him. Because even though the world calls him a thief, to me, he's still the man that once made me believe that love could survive anything.